Okay, let's begin part C of the final project is to create and deploy a DNS server. Okay, the first thing you have to do is to go to tools and go to DNS setting and scroll down to the forward lookup zone to create a new zone for your company. As you can see, I have created the existed zone here is Hoàng I have created earlier, so I will divide the role this for this zone. It has three divisions: HR, accounting, and IT, and I will create a new DNS domain for this zone. Okay, now right click on this and go to new domain. Let's assign this as HR function here. The next one is accounting here, and final one is the IT here. So the DNS server has been deployed, has been added, and that is the end of this exercise. Okay, now I will assign this DNS record for each function. So let's go to this domain and click on new host to assign a new IP address for each function here. Okay, next we will assign the HR first, and let's assign it as here 10.0.0.15 maybe. Okay, now add host to add a host record to this DNS server. Okay, keep on the next one. We will assign the accounting. Let's assign the IP address as here 10.0.0.11. Click add host. Okay, the accounting host has been added to this new domain zone. And final one is IT. Let's assign IP address here 10.0.0.12. Okay, now click add host to add the new host to this domain. Okay, the next activity is creating a DHCP server and deploy it to your company. The first thing you have to do is to install the DHCP server roles. Okay, now click on add roles and feature. To add the new role to the domain, click on next here, click on next. Now let's find the DHCP here, DHCP server, add feature, new, next, and install it. Okay, after After you have installing the DHCP server, now we'll assign the scope for each IP address. Here we have the two types of IP address, is the IPv4 and the IPv6. Okay, now we will assign the firstly is IPv4 to add a new scope to the network. Okay, let's click add a new scope here, click next. Okay, now now let's type in the IP address. Let's type in the name in the text box here, 10.0.0.0, and click next. Let's configure the start IP is 10.0.0.1, 10.0.1, and the end address is 10.0.0.100. Okay, and assign the subnet mask is 252.252.252.0. Click next. The next one is to assign the start IP address and the end IP address, so the system will exclude the address range list. Okay, now let's assign the start address first. Let's start with the 10.0.0.1, and the end IP will come to 10 here. Let's click on add to add and exclude address range. Okay, now click on next. Click on next to configure the date time. Click on next again. Now let's assign the IP address here. Is the starting IP. Okay, now click add to add a new IP address. Now click on next. Next again. Next, click on next to activate the scope for IPv4 network, and click on finish. Now you can see the new scope has been added to this network. Okay, the next thing you have to do is configuring a new scope for IPv6 network. So also, just like IPv4, we click on the new scope to add a new scope to it. Click next. Let's type in the name FD00. Oh no, let's type in IPv6 here. Okay, click on next. Let's configuring the prefix starting at FD00. FD00. Click next. Okay, the starting IP address, let's configure it 0001. And the NIP and click on add. Now the system will print out this exclude address range here starting from 1. Click on next. And click on next again. Okay, now finish creating this code. Now we'll select. Now we'll configure the new scope has been added here. Okay. Okay, let's go into the scope option to configuring this new network. Okay, now let's go on to configure the option here. Select this checkbox, the net recursive name server IPv6 address. And let's type in the new IP address for this scope. Is FD000001. FD00. To add a new IP address for this new network. Okay, now let's add. Click on yes. Okay, now hit OK. Okay, now it's the end of this activity. We have configuring and deploy a DHCP server and creating a new scope for each network IPv4 and IPv6.